Long ago in the continent of Elibe, mankind fought a vicious war against the dragons. Known as the Scourging, humanity at the brink of extinction built 9 legendary weapons given to the 8 legendary heroes. One of the weapons, the Apocalypse Tome, was given to the talented dark magic user, Bramimond. Under the leadership of Hartmut, Bramimond and his fellow legendary heroes would overcome the dragons and once and for all end the Scourging. Hello and welcome back to the lore behind, where today I'll be tackling one of the 8 legendary heroes, Bramimond, the master of dark magic and the wielder of the Apocalypse Tome. We meet him at the end of Kaga Destiny, where it's revealed that underneath the Shrine of Seals is where Bramimond stays, as the gatekeeper of the legendary weapons of Elibe. Because of how he gave away his humanity in order to perfect his dark magic use in stopping the dragons, Bramimond has no self. While it's implied he was originally a man, the version we see of him now is but a mirror of those that speak to him. Bramimond, in the words of Athos, is neither a he, she, or it. The company comes to Bramimond in hopes that it would remove the seals to the legendary weapons so that they may stop Nurgle and his plot to bring back the dragons. At first, Bramimond seems to not care, as the world going into destruction is better than having the legendary weapons fall into the wrong hands. However, with Athos' convincing and the protagonist's conviction, Bramimond unlocks the seals to the legendary weapons, with his goodbyes to the company at this present moment being that Elibe reminds him of a fellow hero that had an unwavering gaze.
There was a man much like you. His gaze never wandered. It was ever fixed straight ahead.
Bramimond comes back later in the final chapter, where he brings back Ninian to life using the same quintessence that Nurgle was after. Ninian, using her powers, tells the dragons to go away, and Elibe and company are tasked with the final dragon that Ninian couldn't handle. And upon their victory, Athos lays in his deathbed, and Bramimond, neither dead or alive, nonchalantly tells Athos that he feels as though his time is near as well. And sometime between the events of FIre Emblem 6 and 7, Bramimond passes away, making it so that there is no longer a gatekeeper to the legendary weapons of Elibe, and kickstarting the wild goose chase that Roy and company would go through in order to retrieve them.
I make my stand here.
When looking at Bramimond's appearance and the voice acting in FIre Emblem Heroes, it's really easy to see why his appearance is the way that it is and why he's voiced by so many people. Bramimond, like I had stated earlier, is a mirror, a reflection, and is the reason why Bramimond wears a green robe in his FIre Emblem 7 sprite, as well as his art in FIre Emblem Heroes. He's a reflection of the silent tactician that follows Elibe and company. And because he's a mirror, FIre Emblem Heroes has his voices acted by 4 different characters: Elibe, Hector, and Lyn, the main characters of FIre Emblem 7, and Alphonse, a prominent figure in the FIre Emblem Heroes universe. His representation in Heroes, outside of his appearance and voice acting, however, is a little odd, but also, in a way, kind of neat. While his personal weapon, Atlas, and Void Tome make zero sense when he has an actual personal weapon, Apocalypse, in FIre Emblem lore, the epithet given to Apocalypse, Silencing Dark or Impenetrable Dark, is his unique C skill. While the skill cancelling abilities has nothing to do with Elder Magic from Elibe, I think the skill being a global debuff except to the character he's facing in battle is there as a sign of power. His A skill, Attack, Defense, Push 4, while it is power creep, is a fun way to represent sacrifice for power. In order to obtain attack and defense, he must sacrifice 5 health, but he won't sacrifice below 25% of his health. I believe this is a nice nod to how Elder Magic is portrayed, and health is used as a medium for one's humanity. While Bramimond doesn't have much of it left, it's the little bit that he has left in him that causes him to break the seals to the legendary weapons, reminisce with Athos, and also the little bit that causes him to save a dragon's life. His B skill, Lull Attack Resistance 3, has no references to the main game and is most likely there to synergize with the Void Tome. However, his special, Luna, is a nod to the Luna Tome being a dark magic tome in FIre Emblem 7. But why is Bramimond, the legendary hero, significant? While he's been consumed by the power of elder magic, he still shows signs of humanity and the humility that comes from being human. He sympathizes with Elibe and company because of how the lordlings reminded him of his past friends. And while he had to sacrifice so much in order to obtain this much power to wield the Apocalypse Tome, what's left of him is still able to find heart when he reminisces of all the good times he shared with Athos during the tragic War of the Scourging. And it's also the human part of him that brings back Ninian to life using a tremendous amount of quintessence, the polar opposite use of what Nurgle was trying to obtain. While he's a husk of his former self in the literal sense, in the end, he never forgot what it meant to be human. Overall, Bramimond's portrayal without Apocalypse is odd, but the attention to detail in his art, voices, and little nods to his immense power in elder magic makes his appearance in Fire Emblem Heroes not only a welcome one, but a fun one. We can only hope to see characters like Hartmut, Roland, or Athos are following suit. This has been JaeAIK, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.